people don't realize that the same people that oppressed you then are the same people oppressing you now.
That's right.
The same people are the same ones that you still have your last names to.
Right.
The same ones you go down to the courthouse system to in order to get a license for everything. You know that the laws of God has not been done away with, but your pastor tell you that they are, right? But he asked you to put money in the bucket, right? Won't he ask you to tithe? Isn't tithe in the law?
Tithe is one of God's laws.
So we got a problem.
I mean, it said that in
Leviticus.
Yeah, he said, but God says 10%.
10% of money?
10%. No, he didn't say specifically money. He said that's where people get it confused from. He says 10%
of what?
Of your earnings.
Give me that Deuteronomy 14.
He says 10% of, it could be your time, it could be anything.
So if you,
10%.
So I'm asking.
At least that's the way I take it.
And I understand.
Because
but I'm gonna ask you this.
10% is 10%.
I'm gonna ask you this. If you went into a Christian church right now and you gave them 10% of your groceries, are they gonna take them? If you put 10%.
Well, my church probably would.
I'm talking about.
General, probably not.
If you put 10% of a cabbage head inside that basket, are they gonna take it?
They probably will have, somebody probably will have something to say about that.
And no, they would walk you out, and you would be told, "Don't come back."
Probably.
Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 22.
Watch this.
Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed.
Of what?
Thy seed.
We talking about what you were told to tithe. Read on.
That the field bringeth forth year by year.
What seed you putting in the field? What comes up out of the seeds? Food. Not hard to understand. Read on.
And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there.
Now that's when we had the feast days, when we had to go back to Jerusalem. When we had to go back to Jerusalem, we didn't go empty-handed. We brought food with us because we all came together and we all ate together.
That's right.
You understand? We all ate together. Not you know how you got that family get together right now? You think that's brand new? No, that's biblical. We always did that. The family cookout, guess what? We all one big family. Read that.
The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
Because we had to keep those feasts. Read on.
And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far for thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God hath blessed thee,
come on,
then thou shalt turn it into money.
And that's where the Bible get closed, push it off the table, and everybody starts singing Kumbaya. But that's not talking about you putting money in the pastor's pocket. Read on.
And bind up the money in thy hand.
And do what?
And shall go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose.
So now you're still talking about going to keep the feast. Read on.
And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after.
So once I get to Jerusalem, now I can start buying the same things that I was going to take with me anyway. But because the way is too far for me, now I have to change it into money. When I get to Jerusalem, I'm going to get the same things I was going to bring with me. We in Buffalo, right? How long would it take you to walk to New York City from here? Take a minute, right? Now imagine you trying to get there with a horse and buggy with your family, 200 ox, a wagon full of crops and your kids. It would be hard, right? So why not sell it where you are, take the money, when you get to New York City, now you can buy those same things. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's what the Bible is talking about. The Bible is not hard to be understood.
Right.
Our people are hard to be understood.
Right.
The Bible is easy. It says, keep my commandments and live. Keep my commandments and live. That's what we're supposed to be doing, John 14 and 15. We're supposed to be keeping God's commandments. And because the church has said, don't worry about that, God's commandments are done away with, it's impossible for you to keep God's commandments. Why would God give you something impossible for you to do?
Right.
Why would he give you something impossible to do and then hold you accountable to it?
That's right.
That don't make no sense. Now that's our God. Why would he put something on us so hard that we can't keep? That don't make any sense. Read that.
John chapter 14 and verse 15.
Read.
If ye love me, keep my commandments.
Period. There's a period at the end of that sentence. It's not a comma. It's not a run-on sentence. That's what he wants from you. If you love me. Because everybody says, well, I love him. I have a personal relationship with him. I love Christ with all my heart, soul, and mind. But do you really love him when he says the simple thing to do is just keep his commandments? Right. And his commandments are not read. Go do what you get at. First John. Yeah, and his commandments are not grievous. We have to do the simple things in life. The simple things in life are written down. He gave us a handbook of how to live. Imagine if we all did our own thing. That's why this looks like the way it looks. Right. Because we all do our own thing. He gave us an instruction book of how to live your life. That's right. From the time you're born to the time you die, you're supposed to be covered by a man. Did you know that? Did you know that? From the time you're born, from the time you're a little girl, your father is over you. He gives you to your husband. Right. He gives you to your husband. And from your husband, if your husband doesn't live longer than you do, you come back to the church. And the elders will be over you. You were never supposed to be uncovered. Now you're strong and independent and on the world all by yourself. And that's why you suffer the way you suffer. Our women suffer because they want to be independent. Of who? Who are you really independent of? God. Read.
1 John chapter 5 and verse 3.
Bring it out.
For this is the love of God.
So this is how we love God. This is how. Read.
That we keep his commandments. And his commandments are not grievous.
It's not hard to do what God says to do. It's easy. It's a light thing for you to do God's work. It is a light thing for you to say, you know what? I'm going to love my husband because I know he's supposed to be a leader for me. I'm going to love my wife because I know God says I'm supposed to cover her. I'm supposed to take care of my kids. I'm supposed to get up and go to work and make sure that my family is taken care of. I'm supposed to do that. But the world doesn't teach you that. The world says get it how you get it. Live how you live. Now look at our people. Look at our people because of that. How do we live how we live? We are the most depressed. We are the most oppressed. We don't have any hope. We have nothing to show for all the things that we've been through for all these years here. You have built this country by your hands, blood, sweat, and tears, and you don't have 2 nickels to rub together. All the fancy chains we got, right? All the chains we got, all the cars we got, big rims, nice house, all you got to do is not pay your taxes. All you got to do is get caught by the police, and you don't have a receipt for that. Guess what? That goes in a bag and it goes to an auction.
That's right.
And it gets sold for pennies on a dollar. Our people don't realize that the same people that oppressed you then are the same people oppressing you now.
That's right.
The same people are the same ones that you still have your last names to. Right. The same ones you go down to the courthouse system to in order to get a license for everything. Right. You have to get a license for everything here. They just try to stop us and say we can't talk on the corner. We need a permit. What we need a permit for? We're out here talking. You don't ask people out here selling drugs to get a damn permit.
Right. That's right.
That's right. We out here bringing hope and life to our people. They selling death. You don't ask them for a license. Right. And you know they there. You know they there. Right. Read 2 and 6. You know they there. And you don't do anything to stop them. Know why? Because crime is a business. Ignorance is a business. You understand? Knowledge is power and you don't have none of it. You understand? Why would they kill us when we learn how to read? Why would they kill us for learning how to write? Now you are the least educated of all people on the planet Earth. Right. People that don't read still have a better shot at it than you do. They come here from fresh off the boat. They can get a business. You can't. You lived in Buffalo all your life. You can't just open a business. You have to get an approval to open that business. I bet you they go down to the courthouse, they'll get it before you will. Read that. First John 2 and verse 6. Come on. He that saith he abideth in him ought himself also so to walk even as he walked. The same way Christ walked is the same way we have to walk. He walked perfectly. Perfectly.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is